need a light, so I can smoke away this pain. I need a light, so I can smoke away this pain.
Welcome, everybody, once again to Elevated Culture. I am your host, Matthew Stafford, with my trusty, I don't even want to say co-host anymore. He's just a host, a friend, a gentleman, a scholar, one of the best men I know, Ryan Cook. How the hell are you, you old son of a bitch?
You old son of a bitch. I'm doing great. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's been a minute since we've done one of these.
You know, too long.
It has been too long. We've had a lot going on. There's been a lot going on in cannabis. There's I want to say a lot going on outside of cannabis, but cannabis is kind of our life. So we've kind of been sticking with that trend.
Yeah, is anything else going on out there in the world?
If there is, I don't know, because cannabis is making big moves, right?
It sure is, man.
But I think before we get to some of the big moves that they're making, I think we need to say happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Do you say that with a Z-E or just with a regular D-A-Y-S?
You know, depends on who I'm talking to.
I like your style. I like your style.
You know, of course, my parents get the D-A-Z-E.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so it's definitely the holiday season. You know, there's a lot of cheer going around. I don't know, maybe people getting dragged to parties that they don't want to go to, maybe family gatherings that they know there's going to be an argument at over something, or they're just going to have a grand time. I don't know, but it's something that I kind of wanted to bring up with you. I wanted to ask you, and you know, I pardon me if I'm prying, but you know, do you have any kind of Christmas or holiday, even if it's like, you know, New Year, anything Hanukkah, anything Kwanzaa related, that maybe you you know, you have some stories where you basically were a place where you wanted to consume, couldn't consume openly, but discreetly consumed? Kind of want to know, do you have any stories like that, and what was your method?
It's pretty much my whole life, I would think, right? You know, until the legal cannabis market happened, I think all of us were probably in this boat a lot more. And so, you know, for me, I guess like I would immediately go back to my childhood and think, from the second that I started, you know, smoking cannabis and my brother and I were you know, tag team in this. My brother ended up saying, "Hey, listen, you know, Christmas morning, let's go downstairs. Let's smoke before we go up and open up presents." Oh. And you know,
light some trees before you light the tree.
and because I'm huge on tradition, you know, we have kept this up over the years until my brother over the last couple of years has finally bowed out and decided that we are far too old to be doing this in my parents' basement. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I hope they don't listen to this because, you know, Christmas is right around the corner, and I'm going to do it again.
It's a funny thing. I have a similar story. My brother and I, anytime that I came back, you know, from college, it was interesting because it was only like my last year of high school. For some reason, I like eluded the fact that my brother knew that I smoked weed. It was really interesting. Like, he had no idea. He found out as I was like leaving. I was going to a music festival, then driving out to Colorado. So it was all like one big trip.
This is what year?
2002.
Okay. All right.
And he was like, "You've been smoking weed this whole time?" I was like, "Yeah."
We could have been such
yeah, he
good
was like,
friends.
"We could have been smoking weed together." And I was like, "Well, I hop in the car. Let's go to this festival. Let's drive out to Colorado and keep smoking weed."
Yeah.
And so we did that. But every time I came back for Christmas, it was something that we always did. It was like, we would always go down to the basement. You know, we're like, "Oh, we're just going to look for stuff like, you know, old family relics, like stuff that reminds us of our childhood." And then, you know, we obviously walk upstairs and raid the fridge and have a drink or two. So,
well, you know, I mean, not too many years ago, started dating, you know, my girlfriend now, and so went over to her parents' house for Christmas, meet the parents for the first time, and they end up asking, she ends up saying that we're going to bring, hats and shirts from the company, and this is, I was a little shocked, right? But, and then tells me to go ahead and bring my rig, bring some joints, make sure that that we're set up. So rig, no way.
Sounds like you're
meeting
going to
parents,
a pop-up.
Yeah, right. I had the terpene samples.
Yeah.
I had marketing
Did
materials.
you have literature? Yeah, that's...
No, I was ready to sell. But we brought them a PAX device and pod for her dad, from the lab pods, and then also brought a couple of joints from the bank, right? And had a great time sitting around the kitchen smoking a joint with everyone. Her mom, her dad, gave her dad the PAX pod. Let him sit down on the. We also bought him a Broncos blanket.
Nice.
He curled right up on the couch, dude. Broncos blanket on. Decided that maybe it hit that. He's hitting the PAX pen like it was a joint,
roasting it.
It was amazing, man.
That's awesome.
It was super fun. I think I really bonded with them that year.
That'll happen. There's been a few parents over my lifetime. Only just a few, like a handful, but of people I know that I've smoked cannabis with, and it's a fun time, man. It's actually a really fun time. I think some people think it'd be a little weird, but it's actually kind of fun. My parents don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
They obviously know I do, and they don't care, but it's just one of those things they don't. Kind of wish they would just do it once.
Yeah.
Just once. Just one hit, just to, I don't know, just to kind of get on that level with them. I would love to see my dad. I don't know that my mother would feel comfortable. Okay.
Some people, dude, they just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would work.
I see it's the opposite way for me. My mom would be great with it, but my dad, I could see him just being a little on edge and I'm not having a great time
right,
here.
Sure.
I got a little anxiety. Even though there's obviously nothing to have anxiety about. So,
Ron, I have to say this though too. While we're around the holidays here, not too far after Thanksgiving, the clinic, I would like to say happy anniversary. Cracking this one to you guys. 9 years in business.
Congratulations.
Amazing, right? And all the patients and
all the patients. Everyone, in every department, in every division throughout the company, everyone over the years, that we've seen and we've seen kind of, move on and do great things, whether within the industry or, without, and been able to retain those relationships and those bonds. It's a big thing. 9 years is an amazing thing for a business, but it's an amazing thing for the group of people and the people you're doing it with, in this case, the patients and the consumers who come in and are loyal to the clinic, and all of the people that feed into that. It's something that's really amazing. It's more than just hey, this storefront's been here for 9 years. There's so much that goes into it.
I'd love to have some of those, those patients, reach out to us on Instagram. Whether they direct message us or make a post, I'd love for them to, reach out and give us some stories of what they remember, from back in November of 2009.
Definitely. If any of you all are listening, and I know you are, feel free to send us a message on Facebook. Just obviously the clinic, if you're an older member and patient and you haven't liked us on Facebook, it's the clinic, then it's at the clinic_Colorado on Instagram, or just send us an email, elevatedculture@thecliniccolorado.com. Shameless plugs, but also a way to get in touch with us, because we would love to hear from you, because we know you guys are out there, and we appreciate everything, because this wouldn't be possible without you all.
I absolutely remember that first day like it was yesterday, man, and it was super cool. We had we had a doctor in the facility, which was something that back in the day you could do. And in fact, actually, our very first store was actually built like that. It had sort of 2 dispensary rooms, and then in the middle there was a doctor's office, and had a desk in there for the visiting doctors to come in and meet with patients and do those consultations. And so but that first day there was a ton of people.
Gangbusters, as they say, whatever that means.
But pretty amazing, because they were able to actually see the doctor and then immediately go into the bud room, and ultimately, that changed, not too many years thereafter, where there was
a lot.
There was
obviously.
a delay when after getting your medical card, but back then you could get it and immediately go right in, and so it was pretty cool.
I wasn't there. I'm gonna sound like as the kids say, a noob, but we've been around for 9 years. I've been around for almost 8. So with the clinic.
You're a noob.
Yeah, I'm a noob. I was at the time working for another dispensary that was no longer around. They haven't been around for a long, long time, I think, as that transition was taking place. I mean, that's why I left. And
you were up in the Highlands?
I was up in the Highlands, 32nd and Tennyson,
yep.
Which has been revamped lately, and I saw that starting to happen. But I was at a place where the regulations were coming in, and unfortunately the guy who was running it, he had some partners. They had falling outs. They had left. He was kind of the good guy who stuck around.
Sure.
He was trying to make it happen, and I was managing the dispensary, helping at the greenhouse out in Longmont, and it was just one of those things where he didn't have the money to make the upgrades. It wasn't going to work out. He kind of understood. Plus, I had a friend who you helped start the clinic with, and I was actually up at a bachelor party for our buddy. I used to play in bands when I was in college, and this guitar player that was in one of my bands used to roommate with this guy, and we were up at his bachelor party, and he was like, "Hey man," he was like, "I heard you've been in the industry. You were out in California for a few years after you left Colorado. You came back. You've been working with this dispensary, managing, blah blah blah." And he's like, we're kind of looking for somebody. We have, some interviews going on for drying and trimming and curing right now. And kind of just asked me what my experience was. And I'd been out in California doing a lot of it, and ended up, he was like, "Listen, I'll set you up with an interview." And actually, the studio / Clinic HQ conference room that we are sitting in now, I sat literally like 2 seats over in the center, and you were there. There was Mr. Max Cohen.
And you were there?
And a couple other people. And I had some questions thrown my way. I think I answered them pretty well. And 2 days later, Mr. Ryan Cook, sitting across from me again now, 8 years later, sent me an offer letter and gave me a call and said, "I'm sending this your way." And
it's all history from there.
But the thing that got me interested in the clinic, what's interesting is because that happened, and it was very serendipitous and such. But even before that happened, because I didn't know that you all had started the clinic, I didn't know who was behind it at the time. But you guys had won for your pre-98 Bubba Kush for your CBD at the time.
In fact, actually, the very first CBD award that High Times has ever provided.
Yes, and it was an exciting time, and I was all over it. So I kept constantly, whoever was working at the Colfax store, I apologize, because I was calling all the time, like, "Do you have the pre-98 Bubba Kush in right now? Do you have the pre-98 Bubba Kush in right now?" I was over and over, but it really sparked my interest, and then I started learning about the clinic and everything that was happening. And then, like I said, very serendipitous that it kind of happened this way, kind of meant to be, I think. But it was that's what got me into it, was that CBD strain, the high awesome. CBD strain back then, that I heard that, had kind of looked into it a little more, started making calls, and you look at that, or at least I do, and look at making those phone calls and how big of a deal I thought it was back then, which it was, and it still is. But looking at like where we are with CBD now, and that was like a high pre-98 Bubba Kush, first high CBD strain award that High Times had given out, And now look at where that industry has gone, let alone the cannabis industry.
Exactly. And I'd have to say, some would maybe say the Grinch is coming to town. Some would say Santa's coming to town. But Marlboro just made a $1.8 billion investment into the cannabis industry. So they've made their entry.
$1.8 billion, dude. That is, I mean, let's be honest. I don't think anyone has actually seen that amount of cash ever, like any human being ever, like just stacked up, right? That is just a digital number. Maybe they've seen it in gold. Possibly. But other than that, I mean, that's obviously just a digital number, but it still means a lot because we've talked on this podcast before about kind of where the industry has been going. And I think everyone kind of knew, there was going to be this, conglomerates coming in and doing this sort of thing. But this is that first major move by a major company to do that. How quickly do you think we see other conglomerates come in and do this after someone like that?
Well, I'd actually, I have to say there are a couple other ones. So, Corona, which is ultimately owned by Constellation Brands, did make I think a $4 billion investment into Canopy Growth. And so, there have been other companies. And
at that same month, fucking Molson Coors, another brewer, jumped in on a joint venture in Quebec.
Yep, they're doing so. There's a ton of companies. I think this is the future, right? We're going to see. We heard Coca-Cola was talking about doing something. I've heard Jelly Belly is out there.
Jelly Belly, I haven't even heard that one.
There's a lot of companies that I think are moving down that path, and I think they should.
I really hope, I'm sorry to derail this, but I really hope Jelly Belly does like strains as Jelly Belly flavors. Right? That's genius.
I'm sure they're going to go CBD though.
Yeah. Well, hey, full spectrum hemp oil. That's what we call it nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got to sidestep everything. You got to sidestep it one step ahead, people. One step ahead. Because
but it's interesting to see what's happening, at least, and I think we're going to continue to see it. There's no question. The consolidation in the marketplace is a real thing. We've been talking about it for the last couple of years, but as more and more companies start to trade publicly, you're going to see larger and larger conglomerates take over, and so whether all the names of these locations change or not, I don't know. I've been saying this for years. This is something that you look at a company like GTI or Kronos Group or there's Canopy Growth, Aurora. These companies are making huge moves. Not just in Canada or the U.S., but really internationally. So over the next couple of years, it's going to be amazing to see how this thing transitions.
I think it's kind of poignant to say there's a quote in one of these articles where the executive director of NCIA, F. Aaron Smith, says this is what legal cannabis looks like. You've got some of the larger players taking interest, and that's a good thing. It's going to create more economic vitality, more jobs. I think that's definitely true, in a certain respect. But I think, we also have the purists, the people who've been in it. We talked about 9 years, people who've been in it a long time, but you kind of can relate it to. We've seen when people are pushing laws and regulations, not only here, but in other states, tax like alcohol, regulate like alcohol. I think when you see this and kind of, really let that quote sink in, that this is what legal cannabis looks like. It's kind of like these smaller craft brewers. You will always have, kind of your connoisseur levels on that craft brewery level. But a lot of those craft breweries, people who maybe aren't paying attention or just didn't care to look into it, don't know that they're owned by a larger conglomerate, at this point.
I mean, this is not much different than any other industry that's ever, that's ever been sparked. I mean, we're going through the natural transition and growth, and the reality is that we had a ton of companies that popped up, some that had the ability to make it, some that definitely did not and should not have been open in the first place, and now we're getting to the point where I think larger and larger companies are clearly seeing that there's some exciting opportunity here in the cannabis industry, and they're starting to join in. And I think as we do that, as you were just mentioning, jobs, right? I mean, we are going to see stability in the marketplace. You're going to see less of this turnover that we've seen in a lot of the cannabis industry up to this point. I think a lot of individuals have been jumping from company to company, trying to figure out what works for them. Some of these companies are going out of business, so it's kind of a crapshoot. But I think the reality is that when you do have larger companies come in and can provide great benefits and stability for employees, I think that's going to be a good thing. I mean, what I hope is that we also see along with this an educational change, because I think that's really where we're at. I mean, you look at the legal alcohol market and you look at kind of the way that this has grown over the years. I mean, we are starting to see even here in Colorado, as the market has dropped, as prices have dropped, I don't know that very many individuals were necessarily looking for that craft quality product. And I think you have so many recreational patients coming in that really are not educated on the quality of these products or why you would buy one over the other. And I think that's a natural transition that we're going to have to go through until the general market understands some of these products, and then we can start to see people where there will be the more Walmart version versus a high-end craft version. And so and I don't know. It's something we're gonna continue to shake out.
I think it's definitely something that's going to be shaken out. But I think, in a very positive light, everyone who has been working in this industry for so long, the fact that you have even these large corporations, conglomerates looking to get in, it means that everyone, you have not been working for nothing. You've actually shaped and changed, policy. You've shaped and changed people's perspectives. We're now seeing it, in so many states. It's going to happen.
Change the world.
Exactly. I mean, we saw what happened in Canada. Everyone is talking about these things, and then you can also look at hemp and CBD. Things are changing, and so everyone who has put literally day in and day out their blood, sweat, and tears, and hard working. I think everyone should give themselves just a little pat on the back, even though I know there are going to be a lot of people who say, corporations, conglomerates, but you know what? The reason that they're looking at the industry and they're looking at the commodity that you've cared so much about is because you've cared so much about it. And I think that is something that people need to take into account and look at within themselves just a little bit, and, kind of recognize that they've been a part of that, and it's a part of something big, and it's a part of something that's very important.
Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, dude.
Happy Hanukkah.
Couldn't have said it better myself, dude. And you know what? So hopefully, rather than talk about this heavy stuff, hopefully individuals can get out there and have fun this holiday season. One of the things that I was thinking about that I want to talk about tonight is some of these holiday movies. Some of the ones that I enjoy watching, and especially the stoner culture movies, which are always fun over the holidays.
They're always good. Do you have a favorite?
I've got a few favorites, and I'm going to ask you to pull some up if you don't even mind. But
yeah, don't mind at all.
I mean, I think Harold and Kumar, 3D Christmas.
3D Christmas. That's one of your favorites right there.
Get it up.
All right. Let's see if we can get this up here and get this to play for us. We're going to play the trailer here. We might do, it's almost going to be like a Mystery Science Theater thing. We might talk over it a little bit. But also, if we're playing this and you're a studio who's listening, because I know a lot of large studios and a lot of large satellite radio stations and terrestrial radio stations listen to us for content. We haven't gotten mad when you guys have taken things from us, but right now we're really promoting your movies and playing these. So don't come down on us because you're actually getting free promotion right now to our millions of listeners. So without further ado, a very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. This came out in, it looks like 2011, according to YouTube. Let's check out this trailer.
I believe everything on YouTube.
Me too. I believe everything on the internet.
I mean, this is the third in the series.
This is the third.
And it was a 3D.
Some volume there.
Oh, yeah.
Once in a generation, there comes a movie that makes you believe.
It's magical.
I
They
shot
shot
Santa
Santa.
Claus in the face. He's real, and I shot him in the face.
At least the two of you guys were on
We
board.
were on it.
Ah, married. He's singled up.
Kumar.
Sorry, I don't date black guys.
What?
What are you doing? What? My daughter's in there. What?
Got a lot of cameos. Some CGI.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil
Welcome
Patrick
to heaven.
Harris.
I'm
Oh,
Jesus.
son of a bitch.
Doogie Howser.
Christ. I practically run this place.
You know,
Oh,
he
for real?
was
I mean, my
amazing
dad
in the
owns
first
it, but I'm
one.
kind of
He's been amazing in pretty much everything, I think, that
Well, these guys always getting up to some sort of
Hijinks.
craziness. Yes.
they're playing beer pong at a holiday party right now.
guys?
That guy does not look old enough to drink.
to trip out a little bit.
Those kids put something in here.
Dude, we're claymated.
Awesome.
Was that...
Oh my God. This is like
This
that
is-
scene from a
this is
Christmas story. How did this happen?
Little
Is it
tip
like
your
the
hat.
scene from Christmas story.
Tip your hat to the
Sorry,
Christmas
dude.
story movie.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Why were they both peeing into the same hole?
Do you think jumped the shark by now?
You don't understand. It makes Avatar look avatarded. It's gonna be
Egg to the
amazing.
face.
Who are you looking at?
We got Neil Patrick Harris throwing a hat. You guys should actually really watch this trailer.
I have to say though, we gotta go on to the next one. We gotta go to Friday After Next.
Friday After Next.
Friday After Next.
Is that your next favorite one?
Yeah, because I mean, not only do I love the Friday movies, okay, absolutely love them. I mean, Friday After Next, Christmas movie. Come on.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, a creature was stirring, and it wasn't a mouse.
What are you doing in my house? I'm Santa Claus. Where the milk and cookies?
This holiday season,
He got the rent money, all of it.
Getting my rent money today, or Damon gonna come see you.
Diamond!
Craig and Day Day.
What up,
getting
Debo?
something
Craig,
they never
yeah, Debo.
expected. Jobs.
Daddy, how I look? Dun, 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 dun. Like a damn snitch? Yeah, boy!
They got Christmas
All right.
decorations in the background.
Here's my next
What's
one
your
coming.
third? What's your third?
Die Hard.
Die Hard. That is yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. That's a good Christmas movie.
Everyone has
Let's
that
see
on
what
their
this
Christmas
trailer's
list.
like.
It's Christmas Eve in L.A.
How young Bruce Willis looks.
He doesn't look like that anymore.
We'll see what Santa and Mommy can do, okay?
And New York cop John McClane has come to see his wife. Instead,
Instead, there's a lot of gunfire.
within
He's one
this
of the best
skyscraper high above the
villains,
city,
too.
Oh, it's
12
literally one of the
terrorists
best.
have
Top
declared
3.
war.
They're about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
They're as brilliant.
Can you believe that this was a Christmas movie?
$140 million in your vault.
as they are ruthless.
But I'm telling you,
I can, dude. This is America.
Right? This is, I mean, when I think about Christmas, I think about guns. I think about tank top or wife beater, like white shirts covered in
Bruce
blood,
Willis.
and Bruce Willis
Yeah, those are the things.
in elevator shafts.
For real. What are yours?
It's like Christmas coming.
What-
It's
what-
like
what
Santa
do you
Claus
got?
coming down the chimney. Is him in that elevator shaft. I've got a few things, man. I gotta say, Elf is like my go-to, man.
That's a good one.
It really is. It really is.
I tried to watch Elf the other night with my nieces.
You tried to?
Well, my nieces weren't into it.
How? What?
I don't know, man.
Fucking.
They decided they wanted to watch.
What's younger than a millennial?
They wanted to watch 4 Christmases.
What's that?
Reese Witherspoon or something.
Of course.
I don't know.
Of course. Elf.
New Line Cinema proudly
Pretty much one of my.
You know, though, you stop this for one second. With my nieces, though, I tried to watch Love Actually.
Yeah.
You know that movie?
Oh.
Who doesn't? It's a really nice. I thought it would be great with the kids.
Holds the sign. He's like, I think you're perfect.
Yeah, that. That's what was going through my head. You know, like in the first 2 minutes of it is the start of the porn movie. Do you remember now?
No, I don't. But
there's
now,
you know how they do different cameos or different segments with different people, right? And one of them is these two that are in a porn movie together, and I completely thought I was watching a movie for the kids.
Is that a PG-13?
I don't know, man, but I just know that as soon as I saw that at the very beginning,
you're like,
nope, changing gender.
Yeah, isn't Jack Black in that, and he's not funny?
No, I don't.
Which
Jack
one is
Black
he? He's in some love movie, not
Really?
Love Actually.
Anyway.
Hugh Grant's in that.
Hugh Grant.
Yeah. Yuletide greetings. I don't know. Elf.
One Christmas Eve.
You know what? Hey, fun movie fact here, everyone. Oh no, it's actually fucking the Santa Claus, not this movie. So.
What's not a fun movie fact?
What?
30 years later.
Let's recite the code of the elves, shall we?
Fun movie fact, folks. Those are not actual elves in the movie.
What?
No. They're,
Wait,
they're
hold
kids.
on. Let me stop this. Are you going to tell me next that Santa Claus is not real?
No. Why would I? No.
Because he has elves, and I think I'm making a connection here.
I'm just saying that these are his friends. These are the elves' friends.
Okay. All right. Well, this elf is my age, and he's running
You're not
around.
like the rest of us. I was sure when you cracked 6 feet that it would come up.
This is just a fun movie, just all around for kids, for parents, for
he's taking a journey.
What else?
middle-aged people.
What else you got?
Fucking Gremlins.
Oh, no one remembers that this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
it's an old one.
It was actually playing at the Alamo Draft House. The
84.
84? That's the year I was born.
Was it really?
Yeah, the year I was born.
I wouldn't have had you a day over 83.
Steven Spielberg presents
Steven Spielberg.
Gremlins. Billy Pelser has a nice home.
Old Billy Pelser.
Billy, is that you?
He's got samurai swords on the wall.
A nice job.
Billy's
Nice
working
doing
at the bank.
If you're not doing anything this Thursday night, maybe you'd like to...
Billy's
he had
banking
the perm, too. He had the 80s perm.
I'd love
He
to.
did.
And loving parents.
I think all girls, in wintertime, wear that hat. Like that.
Kurt Cameron had
The most
had the
unusual
perm
gift.
nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, here's the most unusual gift.
It's your new pet. Come on, Bonnie, be a good dog. My dad gave it to me.
But there are a few things to keep in mind.
Dude, do you think this is where
If you
Furbies
expose
spawned
it to
from?
light,
Do you think anyone
you
was
may hurt it.
concerned about the fact that
If you get it wet,
that he had a
will
gremlin in the
multiply.
first place?
If you get it wet.
Yeah, plain water.
and most important,
Plain water.
no matter how much they beg, never let them eat after midnight. Because when they do, they change.
Uh-oh.
This movie is good.
This movie is great.
Now they party. They literally just party
They
the
totally
whole
do.
time.
Yeah. For everyone not watching these trailers with us live on our streaming YouTube page, which has I think 1.25 is what it's saying. Oh no, jump to 1.27.
Yeah. Less.
But I mean, anyone who is not watching and just listening to this later, I think that you guys should check these out as we're talking about them, because these trailers are actually amazing. And
what's your next one?
I've got a final one that I always go to, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a tough choice between these two. Okay. Because I mean, there's one that we all know is synonymous with Christmas, right? My family, we always tend to go Home Alone, like Home Alone or Christmas Vacation, so that's why this was tough. We know there's another one that's very synonymous with Christmas, which I think kind of tops it out. I kind of have some beef because there's a certain broadcaster that plays it for 24
TBS,
hours.
you know we're looking at you.
I'll call it out right now, Turner. Turner, you do this every year. It gets old. You got to make people want it. They'll tune in more. If I can tune in any second of an entire day and just pick up where I left off, what do I need a DVR for? You know, and it's not just. But
every
the
year,
Story
I've got to admit that I want to go to. I want to have Chinese.
I know, right? And they have the duck and everything. Yep. But third is going to be the national anthem. Christmas Vacation.
This holiday season, the Griswolds are going to play it safe.
Those Griswolds, they're always up to something.
I love Chevy and Fletch.
I give you.
I love Fletch and Fletch too.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Hope you're not getting sap all over your sweater, Clark.
All Clark wants is
who plays the uncle?
There's an RV.
Yeah, that's it. Right where I went. Dude, I didn't realize that these movie trailers were like 3 minutes long
that keeps on living.
Merry Christmas.
His family.
We didn't come to impose.
Plenty of room. Do you sleep with your brother? Do you know how sick and twisted
is that Parker Posey?
Well,
who is that?
I don't. That's amazing.
You better take a rain check on that, Art. He's got lip fungus they ain't identified.
Randy Quaid, you old son of a bitch.
Well, so Christmas Story. I'll still watch you on TBS, though. I've got to admit.
As much as I just hated on the fact that it was on all day during Christmas, or is on, or is going to be on, when I said out loud that, like, I can just stop it in the middle of Christmas Day and, like, turn it back on, and it's, like, right where I left off, rather, I'm like, fuck, that's actually kind of nice. I actually didn't have to hit anything on the DVR. Like, it's just like I just turned it on, like the channel was there,
Totally.
It's a love-hate. So, but those are all some great Christmas movies. I think I would love to hear from anyone else if they want to write in or anything like that. Let us know about their Christmas movies and kind of what their favorite Christmas movies are.
Should we maybe take some callers?
I mean, if anyone wants to call in, then I think we'd be able to maybe take some calls. We've given out the number to quite a few people. I think actually.
The thing is that if
we have a call coming in right now. We throw it out there. People call.
But you can't. We don't. It's not like.
Hey, who do we got here? You are live with Elevated Culture.
Hi, you guys. I'm huge fans of yours.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for listening. Who we got here?
My name is Aubrey.
Aubrey.
Thanks. I work in the industry. I recently moved here, and I kind of immediately found you guys' podcast, and it's keeping me up to date ever since.
Aubrey, that's what we try to do, is keep people up to date. We're glad you found us when you got here. I'm surprised you didn't hear about us before you got here. But what kind of brought you to Colorado, and what position are you working in right now?
Well, marijuana brought me to Colorado.
Yeah.
And I'm currently working as a bud tender in the cannabis industry.
Okay, let me ask you this, Aubrey. If I were a pregnant or nursing mother, and I was calling in because I was in a little bit of pain. I was having trouble sleeping. Maybe I had some inflammation. Is there anything that you could recommend to me to be able to take, that would help alleviate any of the symptoms that I'm describing, even nausea, maybe?
Well, one of the first things I learned when I got my position here in Colorado was not to make recommendations to pregnant women.
That's a problem.
So I'm going to have to pass on that.
So
but
basically
I would like
what
to
you're
tell
saying is
you
you're
my
not a
favorite
doctor.
Christmas movie. I am not a doctor, no.
Actually, before you tell us your favorite Christmas movie, what I'd like to know is if there was a good gift out there, good cannabis gift to give to someone in your family, what could you recommend?
Well, I actually know you guys. I found out about your podcast because the clinic was one of the first places I shopped at when I came to Colorado. Your location off of Colorado Boulevard and I-25.
Flagship store.
It's got a beautiful sign that you can see from pretty much
Is that reclaimed
Fort
wood?
Collins. Yeah,
it is beautiful. Yeah, my boyfriend and I came in there, and that's actually how I found out about your podcast. And it was at a time when both of us were really trying to get into the industry, and so we just kind of started listening, and we're collecting as much information as we possibly could. So you guys have been really helpful to both of us. But your staff there recommended the Pax Era.
Oh, yeah.
It was a vape pen. So both of us picked up one of those, and we have been in love with it ever since, as well as you guys' pods. So that would be a great gift recommendation, I think.
Nice.
You can actually get them etched at our stores now. If you pay attention to social media, you could get some snowflakes. You could get some hearts for your loved one. You could get a cool tribal design.
Put their name on it.
Yeah, we went in for your pop-up.
Oh, did you?
I think it was last weekend. We had to go up to the Colfax store. We had never been to that one before, but great staff over there, super helpful, and they engraved our eras for us. So we're very excited about that.
Well, Aubrey, we're as excited as you are. We appreciate you checking out the shops. Welcome to Colorado. I'm sure a lot of people have said that, but Ryan and I, we want to be kind of the most important to say welcome to Colorado to you. And also, thank you for calling in because you kind of heard our call out to the masses about your favorite Christmas movies,
and miraculously got through the phone line there.
There was like 9 lights on my controller that popped up, and I just clicked you, and you came through.
Random. Merry Christmas.
So what is it's a gift to all of us that you're on right now.
That's what I think.
So I'm so glad.
What is your what's your favorite holiday movie?
Well, you mentioned one of them, Love Actually, but I feel like you guys.
Do you actually love it?
I actually love it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
The dancing scene with Hugh Grant is one of my all-time favorite scenes in a movie.
Who doesn't love Hugh Grant?
I don't know
dancing?
if you remember.
Who doesn't?
But you guys missed A Christmas Story.
Oh, we were saying that was A Christmas Story was kind of like the overall kind of best one. We're gonna if you want to like play along with us, I'm gonna play the trailer right now. There's might be a commercial for a few seconds.
Okay, great.
Apparently on December 21st, Bumblebee Transformers movie featuring John Cena, free shout out, is coming out. So he says I can't see him, but I am seeing him in a trailer. So, all right, Christmas Story. We're watching the trailer right now. What? This movie looks a lot more. It's super low. Well, all right. Hold on. Let's first off. All right. So we try to play technical difficulties. But what are your thoughts on the leg lamp?
The leg lamp.
I thought this was your favorite movie.
Wow. You don't know about the leg lamp?
Aubrey. Okay. What do you think about Red Ryder BB guns?
I guess.
Well, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I did see it in 24
Wow. Okay. What's a movie you've watched recently that hasn't had Hugh Grant dancing in it?
Well, it's funny your co-host mentioned 4 Christmases because I also recently watched that movie. It's on demand, so I think everyone's watching it now.
Oh, yeah, the internet.
Not that great. Wouldn't recommend
Aubrey,
it.
my nieces and you, I think are into that movie.
Well,
I guess so.
well, Aubrey, we appreciate you calling in. I don't want to take up too much time. I do have one more question, though, for you, because it's a question that my buddy Ryan and I here ask ourselves every time we do this podcast, probably every day when we see each other. And it is, what are you toking about, Aubrey?
What am I toking about? Is that...
Yeah.
What am I toking on right now?
Yeah. What are you? I mean, yeah. What do you?
I
thought you were. I thought you were a fan of the show.
Yes.
So
let me hold on. Let me pull out my Paxera right now. I actually have to see what pod I have in it right now.
Locked and loaded.
It looks like I have your Cantaloupe Haze distillate in here right now, which is by far my favorite distillate pod you guys have made.
I think that one's amazing. I'm still mad that Sweet Mint is gone. I know a lot of people would disagree with me. I think it tasted like a mint julep, but Cantaloupe Haze, close second for me, and also very discreet when
I agree.
You are out in public. Say at a show, say walking into a movie theater to watch A Christmas Story for the first time, or anything.
And it sounds like Aubrey should probably watch A Christmas Story for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, check out A Leg Lamp.
I need to watch it again. You're right. It's been a while.
Well, cuddle up next to your boyfriend. Grab your Pax pen. Yep. And enjoy that. And we appreciate you calling in. We appreciate you listening. And obviously telling your friends, because as I think you were texting as we were on this call, because our numbers just went through the roof.
Happy holidays, Aubrey.
Well, thank you guys for taking my call, and thank you for being so helpful to myself and many others navigating the industry right now.
Hey,
that's
you're
what
welcome.
We're here
for. Okay, thanks, guys.
Cheers,
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Hey, keep your culture elevated.
Thanks, Aubrey.
Thank you so much for calling in. Honor and a pleasure. First caller. The people that we've given that passcode out to and call-in number to our conference line, if you guys have been following us on social media, you will see the hints. You will be able to text something, and it'll text you back. And luckily enough, if you were like Aubrey, you will get in line and be able to call us, because we'll give that number out. It's a little bit of a process, but if you watch for the subliminal messages in the social media, then I think you'll find it, and you'll be able to call in next. So
plus, people, as soon as the show's over, as soon as we end, you'll have a chance to call. We have a winner going home with one of the terpene experiences. So I don't know if you've seen one of those in the store, but pretty amazing. It's a personalized box that has 3 different grams of HTE product, 1 gram of crushed THCA, and 1 gram of CBDA. You get to have a terpene experience. You can dip it in the terpenes, dip it into the THCA or the CBDA, and it's or both, and it's an amazing experience. So as soon as the show's over, people, we'll take what caller should we take?
We'll take caller number 9.
Caller number 9.
Caller number 9.
Caller number 9. You're going to have a chance to win that terpene experience. So
9er. You call in, you'll get it. And I'm actually glad you brought that up, because that is something I've wanted to talk about when we say what you token about. And it's something that we haven't been able to talk about because it's been in R&D and in development. And now it's actually coming to the masses. And it's something that's super exciting.
It's special, man. It's a holiday gift set like no other.
Can you tell me about like a little bit? I know about it, but can you tell everyone listening about the box itself before you, because you just went through, but I want you to go back through what's in there. Just give me the construction of the box.
So you have 2 options. You can go with one that is a wood box, or the other that's an acrylic box. So the acrylic being completely translucent. This is amazingly crafted, where where around all of the edges it's completely dovetailed. So there is no mechanical fasteners on this. The box just fits together. And then inside, there are it's a double layer. The double layer on the top is where you have the 3 HTE grams, and then you have the 2 grams on each side. In the middle, there's actually a molecule that you can hold to be able to lift the tray in and out. So
you're telling me when I open the box,
yes,
I'm going to open the box, I'm going to see 3 grams of HT right up top on the top level right there.
Beautiful, liquidy, delicious, really high in terpenes. But I think there's a sour diesel, a Panama Punch, and a kosher for a sativa, a hybrid, and an indica.
Love it. And then you're telling me right just a little underneath that on the same level right there. On the far left, on the far right, I've got, right underneath that sativa or that indica, I've got some THCA crystal, and I've got some CBD isolate.
That's exactly
right?
what I'm saying.
And in the center, I have a molecule that if I literally put my fingers on it, pick it up.
Yes. You can move it off to the side. You have a second layer underneath, another special gift. What you have is a titanium dabber with a carb cap. You have alcohol wipes, you have Q-tips, and you actually have a mixing jar. So there's a silicone jar in there. So if you want, you can pull that first layer out, and you can actually take a little bit of the HTE and a little bit of whether it's the THC or the CBD.
Recipe.
Make your little mixture there. Maybe it's a couple of different HTEs.
So you kind of got like your own little head stash, and then you still also have like the array when you pull it.
It's an absolutely amazing opportunity to have a terpene experience of your own.
It sounds like the gift that keeps on giving.
I mean, it's legitimately the perfect gift for the holidays. So I honestly encourage you to get on the phone right now and get ready to call in.
Yeah, as soon as we're done, we're going to take caller number 9. And I would say that this is actually a great gift for anyone that that loves cannabis, or anyone that even just yourself, actually. That's the thing. You could buy this for yourself. You know what? Treat yourself. You deserve it. Happy holidays to yourself. You've been working hard. You've been putting in the hours. And I think, this is something that you'll enjoy and will keep on giving. I think it's an amazing product that the lab's putting out and the clinic has exclusively in their stores. And
I've got to admit that is exactly what I've been talking about.
Is it?
That's what I've been talking about. That's why it was so fresh in my mind when talking about it.
I'm glad you're talking about it, because like I said, I wanted to talk about it for just a little while as we were doing some R&D. But as you know, I actually kind of switched up my token habits recently. Tonight I broke my streak. It hadn't been till Vegas. Vegas was the last time that I took a dab when we were at MJ BizCon, which was a phenomenal and great time too. So many great companies, great people coming out to that. But I actually kind of just took a break from dabbing and started getting more into flower again. And interestingly enough, and this is probably going to date me a little bit and make me
84.
seem older than I am. Yeah, 84. I'm actually 84 years old because I didn't know about this product because I actually went to buy another pipe over last weekend, actually. And because I left out in my sunroom, I left my bubbler, which I had the E-nail usually put onto and everything, but I had transferred that out, but I left the bubbler out and I left the bong out, and it froze and it broke the percolator, because it froze. So it's like a disc that broke off perfectly in each of them. So I was like, I gotta go buy some stuff, and I was like, I haven't had to buy glass in a while, even though there's amazing glass out there. I know I'm going to break it, or I'm going to leave it in the sunroom and it's going to freeze. So I don't want to do that to the art. But so I went in and I'm talking to these guys, and they're like, man, we got these pipes right now, these bubblers, and we got these spoons. And they were like, everything there's glycol inside of the glass, and it moves around. And they're like, you can put it inside of the fridge and just let it chill up. And then they
put it in the freezer? Or?
They said freezer. Here's the funny thing. I'm glad you said that, because they said freezer, and then they were like, but you know, like stoners, like they'll leave it in for like longer than 10 or 15 minutes and like it'll probably crack. And I was like, do you know what glycol is? Like, that is really what I wanted to say. I was like, I could just like leave that in there. Have you ever put a bottle of alcohol in the freezer?
Sure.
So it's actually sitting in my freezer right now.
Perfect.
I did buy one. They made the sale. I actually love it because I've been smoking flower through this bubbler, and it has glycol running all through, and it's running through the stem too.
That's awesome.
So it cools the stem. It cools where it's percolating, so you don't have to put any ice cubes. As I've been going through and smoking, recently there was a strawberry banana X-Wing cross that I got my hands on due to the bank, and it was just some R&D, and it was really good. And as much as I love that, this Skywalker, man, there's some flower that I got. That's and awesome. I went by the store, and like this Skywalker flower, man, I'll tell you, for someone who dabbed for a long time and still, like tonight before the show I took a dab, and like I said, broke the streak, but I was doing it for no other reason than I just kind of felt like taking a little bit of a break, and kind of going back to the flower, and it really made me. I've always appreciated flower. You know me, Ryan. I came up through drying and curing, and you know, that was a staple for years for me, and I understand it, and I love it, and it's a science and an art. You know, when you step away from doing it every single day, it's something that I don't think goes away, but it's like it's like in the back of your mind, because you don't have your hands on all the strain stuff. And this batch of Skywalker that I got my hands on, man, like literally, like the moisture content, like the smell, the flavor, the way it burns through on everything.
There's been a big change with a lot of the flour over there at the stores, and that's why, I mean, it's awesome. So I'm glad you're saying that too, because you should go in and check out some of the flour today.
It's, man, I'm telling you, this Skywalker's got me blown away.
Nice, man. Well, then we should wrap this up and go check out some of that flour and check out this terpene experience.
We'll do that, and we'll take the 9th caller. So, Ryan, as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Happy holidays, my friend. We have some big things coming up actually on the new year. I know we've alluded to other things in the past, and you saw some big things happen. So just know that if we're alluding to things right now, there's some big things happening in 2019 with Elevated Culture. So Ryan, love you. Happy holidays. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, man, and happy holidays to you as well. Happy holidays to all of our listeners. I hope we get a chance to share some eggnog, but let's go check out that terpene experience.
Check it out, and as always, everybody, keep your culture elevated.